What's going on, F1 fans? This is Alex and Eileen, and this is It's Lights Out F1, and we just got done watching the Monaco Grand Prix, and I don't know. Eileen was like saying, what?
It was boring.
She kept thinking it
As
was
expected.
boring, and I was like, look, if there's not going to be a lot of rain or anything like that or no accidents, it is what it is. But honestly, I don't think it was really boring. I thought the whole entire event was very entertaining right from the beginning. Even their reconnaissance lap, Charles Leclerc had his accident in qualifying, and they got his car back out there and got it running, but there was definitely some issues, and he wasn't able to even start the race. A DNS or a DNF, whatever you prefer to use. I say a DNS. He did not start. So that made it interesting right from the beginning, right from the jump, let alone Lewis not having a great weekend, not being at the front of the pack. I don't know.
It didn't really make it that exciting, though. Still the race.
That was just the start, and then Max did really well, and then after first pit stops, Perez comes out in fourth. So I don't know. I thought it was a good race. I thought it was a good Monaco race.
There wasn't it was my first time seeing them race in Monaco. So I guess, the hype, and I was like, oh, there's going to be crashes, there's going to be this, and there's going to be yellow flags and safety cars, and there just really wasn't anything. So, it was a little bit boring from there wasn't any overtaking, and it was the same people in the same position pretty much.
There was one overtake. And
there was one overtake in the first lap, and it was Mick over Nikita.
Yeah, and then when Vettel came out of the pit after his pit stop, he was right with Gasly and Hamilton, and he pretty much, he pushed his way through and got right in front of him, and Gasly, kind of let him in, and that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, driver of the day, that was the move. So
that was, yeah, you're right. That was F1's driver of the day was Sebastian Vettel. Mm-hmm. And I think well-deserved. Who is your driver of the day?
Well, I voted prior to even really thinking about it, but I thought Sergio was on the charge, and so I voted for Checo. But, I agree with Vettel. I think it's a good choice. It was very exciting to see him finally get some points this season, and he had a string of bad luck at the start. So definitely was rooting for him. Great to see him finish fifth. But yeah, no, Checo, I really thought he was going to get Norris at the end, and it was very close for some time, and then, he just held him off. But still a great race. He started in eighth, so really good to see him finish fourth. Great for Red Bull.
It is good for Red Bull. In fact, it's so good for Red Bull. They are now the leaders in the Constructors' Cup by 1 point.
Yeah.
So.
Big changes today.
I know. Today was a big change. Also on the
Drivers' Championship, yes.
So how many points did Max be leading by now?
He's leading by 4.
Okay, so 4 points. We have a difference now. We have a new leader, and honestly, in the last few years, it's always been Lewis. And Eileen even said it because she started watching it last year during COVID and everything, and it's been Lewis on the top every time.
It's been Lewis and Mercedes.
Yeah,
every time. The ranking, I'm like, oh, I've never seen another person's photo on the left-hand side of the screen, so it's interesting.
Like the first race of 2020, Bottas won, so technically I think he was leading the race.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Or the first 2 races that he might have been the leader, but after that, it was all Lewis.
Yeah, very interesting. So this was the first race that Lewis wasn't in the top 1 or 2, and so a lot happened.
Yeah, so this weekend, Ferrari was looking good.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. And I think Carlos had a really good race. I think he held his own. You were saying earlier that the pace wasn't really there for...
Well, not for catching Verstappen.
Yeah.
I don't really think there was a big chance there.
No.
So, And I mean, just in previous races, it's tough to tell off of qualifying because it's not their race pace. So they may have a really good lap and then come race pace, then they slow down. I mean, just looking at, I think it was Imola where Charles, when Lewis was back on the charge, was chasing everybody down. You know, he was struggling because of his pace and his tires. So I think from a race pace perspective, you know, they looked a lot better this weekend, of course. Very comfortable.
Yeah. They were very comfortable.
I was rooting for Carlos to win.
Yeah, and honestly, I was too. I liked him. I mean, Max is, I think he's my pick. I want him to win this year. I think, you know, overall, just to beat Lewis. But I like Carlos and Ferrari. I think that's a great combination there. I like Lando Norris is just killing it. Mm-hmm. That's the second podium of the year.
How can you not like him? I think for him, he's satisfied with. He's always happy. I feel like I've said that before, but he's always happy no matter what. Like even I think he was more excited about finishing in third than the other two were about getting second and first, which is kind of crazy. But you know, it's just his energy. And then you know, like it's really great to see him. He's been doing a great job this whole season, and yeah, it was huge today. So
it was. And, I mean, even Perez was trying to make a push here and there near the end, trying to get that third place, trying to almost make, we watched the press conference afterward, and the question was, early on, Lando had 2 mistakes and was given the black and white flag. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if Perez kept pushing, he could have kind of pushed him. And if he got lucky, you know, pushed him at the right point where he maybe wouldn't not have been able to make that chicane or make that turn right there. Mm-hmm. And that would have been a 5-second penalty, you know, essentially. But, you know, it didn't happen. Lando
held him
off, lapped Daniel, unfortunately. But honestly, that new livery.
I know.
It's not really new. It's old.
I mean, it's it looks great. I wish they could keep it forever. I mean, even the suits look so much better.
Oh yeah, it's fire.
Yeah, it was the best one. So it was definitely great to see. I think that was the highlight of the weekend.
Yeah,
for
McLaren
me.
keep.
Yes, keep it.
The golf look. We're a fan.
Yes, no, it was great. It was, and the best part of the day was Carlando. Come on.
Yeah,
we love to see it.
I mean, they're just really good friends, and you know, from what we can tell here, they seem like they get on real well.
Mm-hmm. Unlike Netflix portraying them, that they had a huge issue last season and a lot of drama. When in reality, they appear to be the best of friends. I mean, they're still hanging out, golfing, doing whatever, and they're not even teammates anymore. So, I think that was my favorite part. You got a little teary-eyed.
I'm gonna say no, I didn't.
It was a moment.
I mean, he was Lando Norris was really excited, really happy at the end of the race, and it was a good moment because he deserved it. And you know, I think that's like one of my favorite 3 podium finishes I've seen with Max, Carlos, and Lando.
Yeah, the press conference was a lot different than what you
it's
typically
just
see.
a different energy. You know, much respect to Lewis and Valtteri, but, you know, sometimes their energy, you know, positive, very much so positive all the time, sometimes is a little dull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when you win that many races or you're in the top 3 so many times, how many times can you ask, you know, a lot of the same questions?
Sure, I know.
And most of them this season have just been about the rivalry.
And it has been those 3 for the last 4 races up until now, really, in the realistic, So I get it. And, you know, but then there's something to say, you know, so, you know, Lewis didn't have a great day today, but I don't know how much press he had to do today, but he seems like he scapegoated a little bit out.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he's over it, and I definitely, if I was him, wouldn't want to be talking to anybody.
No, yeah, you're right, and he has every right to do that. Everyone else can do that too. So
yeah,
you know, he can explain himself when he was ready, I guess.
I mean, he did. He still spoke to people, and just in Lewis fashion, kept it very positive, and you know, he congratulated Max and keep it pushing. They're ready for they'll be training for 2 weeks from now. So.
Yeah, and in 2 weeks is Baku.
Yes.
And she's never seen that one either because that's a street course that was not in last year's calendar. And it's street course, but with a very, very, very long straight. It's some of the highest speeds you'll see.
Also, it shouldn't be boring then.
It shouldn't be boring. It should be very turny and tight in a couple sectors. And then the last sector, man, it just opens up and it's quite fast. So
that'll be good.
Yeah, so I think we'll have a lot to see for that in 2 weeks. Is there anything else you want to? Am I forgetting about?
Of course, Valtteri's pit stop. How could we forget about that?
That's true.
Crushed. Honestly, I was rooting for him going into this weekend too. He looked really solid in qualifying and practice. I felt like he was doing a great job. Really, I mean, he looked obviously a lot stronger than Lewis this weekend. So, it was devastating.
So
devastating.
Yeah, it was. So you're like, what happened? What happened? Because you didn't really understand what was going on at first. And for me to explain it, the simplest, most layman term ways for no one that watches that kind of stuff, it's like when you put a Phillips screwdriver in a wall into a nail or screwdriver, into a Phillips screw, and you turn and you strip it, and then all of a sudden you can't get it out. And it's just that's what happened. They put their gun up to the nut, and the nut just stripped out, and it just spun around. And there was no really getting that tire off.
Yeah, he deserves better. My God. Honestly, the worst luck this season so far. It's just terrible to see. So, it was awful. It was awful. Because he really was. I mean, he had a great start. Max boxed him out. Dick move. But, I get it. All in the sport. But he had a great start. And it was just terrible to see him, basically have the race taken away from him, totally out of his control, and, have to end his race from the pit lane. So, total bummer. Total bummer.
Yeah. But still quite a few races left. So I think there's, they're still saying he's in the hunt. I'm going to believe he's still in the hunt. Anything can happen. Engines can blow, engines can fail, transmissions can fail. Mm-hmm. Accidents can and probably will happen.
I'm sure. Yes. I mean, there's 18 races left, right? 23 this
23
season?
23 minus 5.
Is it 18?
18.
Not good with math. Yeah, so there's 18 left. I'm like, so there's a lot can happen. So Red Bull's winning by 1 point. I would be surprised if they don't get it back next race unless something kind of catastrophe happens. But, I think Max and Lewis still. Although I would like to see somebody else win a race other than those two.
Yeah.
Just to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, look, Lando's on the verge of maybe having a first place finish. Carlos is always could do it too. I don't know. This next race is a lot similar to Monaco, similar to another kind of tracks. It's a little different. It's because it's.
Yeah.
It's in the city as well, and they consider it a street course.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. I think I would have enjoyed Monaco if maybe I was there and got to, experience the culture and the vibes, of course.
It's a beautiful place.
If I could be on, Lawrence Stroll's yacht. It's like the Titanic for two people, but the biggest.
Not two people. He's got
I'm sure he has a staff.
He's got a staff, and,
okay,
I'm sure
maybe
he
like
probably
5
has
people
with him,
Sure. But it literally was the Titanic. It was crazy. So, but very, interesting to see, cool to see all the boats, and definitely, I'm sure, a lot different pre-COVID. But yeah, no, overall, it was just, not what we've experienced in the last few races. So that's why it was a little bit more boring for me.
Yeah. So overall, she thought it was kind of boring. I think it was good and dramatic as the usual Monaco race is.
I think it would be more exciting if it's not a blowout. Like, there's, you know what I mean? Like, it's, how much coverage did they actually show of Max racing? It's just like, oh, Max is,
no, you're right,
Max
not much.
Is doing his thing. He's
not
just
much.
out there. His engineer checked in on him. How you doing? I'm doing good. And then really the excitement is in the back, to and beyond. So, I think that's the bummer. And, definitely you want to fight for the win, and I think that's what everybody's looking for. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But hopefully we have everybody finish next time. Everybody was very jokingly, Nikita's going into the ocean, and he didn't even crash, spin, anything.
No, he just got passed by his teammate in lap 1.
Hey, well.
At the hairpin.
Right. But we had 2 that were in the top 3 for pole position qualifying, and they didn't finish. So interesting, kind of crazy.
Also, even Alfa Romeo had a good weekend too, finishing 10th and 11th.
Yeah, Giovinazzi was in Q3, remember?
I know, Q3.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty cool. Cool.
Ferrari figured something out. This is low speed, high downforce, lots of turns.
Yeah.
Those cars perform well.
I feel like that's why Mercedes struggled. I feel like they're definitely more on the straights is where they take advantage. And this, you always see Red Bull outperforming them in the super turny tracks and areas.
The lower speeds, the more turny, tighter areas of the track. You see Red Bull stepping up, and now I would say even now you see Ferrari even.
Yeah.
Stepping up.
Yeah, no, interesting. It was an interesting race. So
yeah,
we'll see. There's a lot up for stakes. Place like 3 through 7. They're all pretty tight from a point perspective in the drivers' championship. So
yeah, so in the drivers' championship, the first place and second place are over 100 points in a pretty good lead, and then third through, like you said, 8th.
Yeah, it's like 7 or 8th. I feel like
is roughly within 20 points. So say one of them coming first or second, man, they're all of a sudden in third place. So there's a lot that could happen in that area, and that's an exciting area to see.
We saw Lewis move down and Valtteri move down. So Max is 1, Norris is 3 now. So interesting.
Yeah, still early.
Still early, long season.
So that pretty much sums up the review that we have for Monaco.
Yeah.
Yep. And we're about 2 weeks away from the Azerbaijan race, and we will be back with that. So if you guys please subscribe. Please ask us questions. Anything like you might want to know, we can try and answer. We're just fans, though. So that's it.
All right. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Bye.